Okay, my lovely friends, another just perfect day here on Wall Street. A lot of stuff to talk about. Some of it is just so out there, and I mean out there, that it almost will seem incredible or more than too much to possibly believe, but it's true. This is the environment we are in, financial fantasy land. I welcome you to it. So again, yeah, this is my post-market wrap-up on this Monday, May 11th, 2020. Stocks finished mixed. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 finished positive. The Dow Jones Industrial Average finished lower, mostly because of American Express and Boeing. Both of these companies were selling off today. A lot of effort went into prop up this market today, and we need to talk about that. It's pretty incredible. Before we get there, let's talk about the 10-year yield. The 10-year yield came up. At one point, it was 0.72. When I just looked at it now, it was 0.71. The fact that bond yields are going up is a positive in this twisted environment. It's to believe we're so far out of the danger zone with regard to this debt market. I mean, it's a time bomb. You know that. The debt market is a freaking time bomb ready to go off. It will go off at one point, but such effort right now is going into keeping the bond market stable that we've never seen anything like it before. Stable, meaning from preventing a rapid, uncontrolled sell-off in the debt market, which is coming, and there is no way to stop it. That's why it's a time bomb. So let's talk about why this market didn't crater today. At one point, all three major stock market indices were lower. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down about 261. We closed down about 100 with regard to the Dow. Yesterday, I'm going to put this together for you, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said that the unemployment numbers were going to get a lot worse, and he was predicting a 25% unemployment rate, the numbers they fist feed us, which means it's a lot worse than that. But today, Steve Mnuchin was in full damage control. He came out saying, hold on a second, these numbers are going to improve by summer. He left out what year, though. You see that? He didn't say by this summer. Markets seem to like that. Soon as he said, well, these numbers aren't going to be so bad, they're going to improve by summer with regard to unemployment, I don't believe that. Markets started to pop a little bit. Then he follows up with this. The U.S. Treasury is willing to spend whatever it takes to support the economy. He said again, he's very comfortable, his words, very comfortable in borrowing the $3 trillion that he just borrowed from the Federal Reserve because he's getting them at really low rates. We should be happy about that. Understand, this $3 trillion is the first installment of many that are coming. Okay? Nothing is what it seems. It's all being inflated by debt. Now, what else happened? We have another Fed president, Kashkari, today. I think this brings the total to at least three that I can think of off the top of my head, who are encouraging Congress and the Treasury to borrow more from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is so willing to print cash out of thin air and disperse it that you have no idea. This is their plan. This has been their plan. This is their final solution to issue more debt to the world so we can create more slaves. Again, the job of a central bank, a world central bank, that's the Federal Reserve, the new world central bank, is to become the lender and buyer of everything, of last resort. Why? So they can own it all. You see that? That's the earth. They want to own the world. This is why the Federal Reserve has been created. That's why we have a debt-based economic model, so they get to dictate the rules. The more debt a central bank issues, the stronger they become. So, of course, the Federal Reserve is encouraging Congress, is encouraging the Treasury to borrow more. This is all they want. The Fed wants to issue more. I told you. We are going to see the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, the one we can see, the one we're allowed to look at. It's going to quadruple. The dark money balance sheet, forget about it. You're not allowed to see that. Neither is the President of the United States. Only Fed members, Fed presidents, I think, are the only ones who are able to see the dark money balance sheet. That's the cash that they're funneling around the world. The cash, the dollars that they're dispersing in the trillions to central banks all over the world. And what are they doing with that? They're buying assets. That's what they're doing. This is a global takeover. I don't know another way to put it, by central banks. And you're going to hear more. You're going to hear more Fed presidents come out saying, okay, Congress, we're willing to lend you more. Okay, Treasury, Steve Mnuchin just borrowed $3 trillion. Well, he can have another $3 trillion and another $10 trillion on top of that. All he has to do is ask. Another thing today, the Federal Reserve said, and I have links to all of this on my Facebook page and on my Twitter feed if you want to look at it. The Federal Reserve, again, is saying the banks will remain solvent. In other words, no matter what happens, the Wall Street banks are going to get unlimited amounts of capital, a direct main line from the Federal Reserve. Again, the Wall Street banks run the Fed. They can do anything they want. That's just the way it is. Period. The freaking end. Let's talk about a few other assets here. Cryptocurrencies, I would say earlier today they were higher. They did give back a little bit today. Gold and silver also under pressure despite parabolic debt acquisition and a lot more to come. Understand what you're looking at here. You haven't seen anything yet. Nothing. Again, I am so certain that the Federal Reserve's balance sheet is going to go from, it's almost $7 trillion right now, is going to quadruple. All in an effort to prop up the stock market, all in an effort for the Federal Reserve to buy the world, to own everything, to own you. They dictate what currency you're allowed to transact in, so that means they own you. You cannot operate outside their realm. Why do you think politicians like Donald Trump don't like Bitcoin, don't like cryptocurrencies? No, they all want you in Federal Reserve issued notes. You don't even own them. They're owned by the Federal Reserve or the issuing central bank, plus interest that they print or create out of thin air. What a system. Could you imagine? Could you only imagine? It seems like it's fantasy land, doesn't it? But that's where we are here, people. So, in summary here, stocks finished mixed. And they would have fell a lot if it were not for Steve Mnuchin coming out today, completely doing a 180. Yesterday, unemployment numbers were going to get much worse. We were going to get 25% unemployment. But today, the numbers are going to get better in the summer. Of what year? I don't know, Steve. Maybe you want to let us know. All right. Then he went on to say he will spend whatever it takes. His words. When those words came out, stocks started to recover. Look, it's astonishing to me, and I wrote this earlier, the power that the promises of adding parabolic debt on the back of a bankrupt country. This is the United States of America. We are bankrupt. We are the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. We have no economy. But the promise of more debt acquisition, unlimited, by the Treasury Secretary of the United States is very powerful. That promise kept stocks from bleeding off. He will continue to promise and swear whatever he's got to do to prop up this market. This is a wealth transfer effect that we're watching here. Lower rates, negative rates are coming in right to your front door. It's theft. It's grand theft. Much more cash is going to be borrowed from the Federal Reserve by the Treasury. Again, the Fed is willing to give whatever they want to. They're telling Congress to ask for more. The Fed is saying to Congress, you want more? Well, we got it. The Fed is saying to Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, you want that $3 trillion that we just gave you? Why not make it 10? Why not make it 15? The Fed wants to do this. This is how they own the earth. This is how they finish their final solution. You know that. It's only going to get much worse here, people. Much, much worse. But again, the market is disconnected from reality. I said this recently, you could split the earth in two pieces and the stock market would go higher in this environment of endless money printing, endless debt. That's all it is. That's all Steve Mnuchin knows how to do. That's all this administration knows how to do. The president calling for negative rates since time immemorial. That's all they know is more debt, more debt. And all this does is make the Federal Reserve exponentially stronger. You understand? That whole delusion out there. Oh, the president's trying to bankrupt the Federal Reserve. He's making them print cash out of thin air. Nothing in the world or off the world could make the Federal Reserve more happy than dispersing more of their product if they get stronger. Whoever created that delusion should literally be, I don't know, tarred and feathered or something because they don't understand central banking whatsoever. Some still believe it. I can't believe that some people are so dumbed down that they actually believe that was once a plan. No, it's incredible. But that's the world we live in today, a society of extreme dumb down. And on the other side, there's you and I. We understand what's going on here. We know how to take advantage of it. We're not going to lose. There's no way. We're going to bet against the debt. We're going to become our own central bank. We're going to trade the market we have. We're going to weaponize this entire system against people like Steve Mnuchin, okay, who was promised, again, unlimited debt acquisition here, and a Federal Reserve who is more than happy to give it. With that said, I think this video has been pretty good, pretty important. Please share it, get it out there. And if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, please do. It's free for you. Link in the description of this video. This guy right here loves you a lot. See you in the morning.